Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to discuss how the narcissist is haunted by the past. There are so many different things that you think of after you've dealt with a narcissist, when you've really gone through the ringer. I mean, most people that deal with narcissists, and I'm going to actually say that's everybody, whether it was at work, friendships, romantic life, family, some capacity, everybody's dealt with something of that sort. And what we often thought was, and what most people think is, well, that's just Uncle whoever. He's just a bad dude. He's hard to get along with. That's just how Aunt whoever is. That's just who this person at the office is. But we don't really understand. And I think a big part of that is because, as we all know, they fake things tremendously. So a lot of times the narcissist at the workplace, um, they evade the attention of most of the people there. There are usually some that figure it out, some who go and have those closed door meetings with the narcissist where they come out and they think, oh my gosh, that person I just saw, that's not who we all see every other day. Who was that? Who did I just meet with? And most of the rest of the office is like, Joe's a good guy. That's how it tends to work. The point is, there are a lot of different things that you think after you've dealt with a narcissist in a really true way. Because I've said this a lot, but when you deal with them in the romantic sense for any real length of time, at least for months, probably longer, but at least months, you get a feel and a sense for narcissism unlike anything else. Is it awful having a narcissistic friend? Yeah, it can be. It can be really hard. I've seen that very firsthand. Not for myself, but through other situations I've helped people work through. They'll explain to me the practices of their friend or their best friend or whatever it is, and it doesn't take very long to say, so that's what you dealt with. I have never had a close friend as a narcissist. And just so you know, the narcissist does not have close friends. The person that thinks they're good friends, they see that narcissist and they believe they have a good friend or even a best friend. The narcissist doesn't look at it that way. The narcissist, actually, I know none of them that have a single deep, meaningful relationship with anyone. They usually have a lot of people that kind of float in and out of their lives, and this person's my friend. They might even claim this is my bestie, this is whatever, but they don't have a deep relationship with any of their friends, any of their family, any of their children. I mean, they don't. One of the curses of a narcissist is that they don't have deep, rich, meaningful relationships with anyone because they cannot do it. And there's a million reasons. I won't go down that rabbit hole. But when you've gone through it, not just in a friendship, but in a relationship, romantic sense, it is so different. It hits you in 1,000 different ways, like 1,000 different knives cutting you. And it's that one especially that's right in the center. You guys know the one I'm talking about. That certain place within you that only somebody of the opposite sex that you're romantically interested in can reach. No friend, no family member, not even a son or daughter, only, and honestly, not even the Lord. And I know that's going to sound strange to people, but you're not in a romantic relationship with the Lord. Pretty simple. The nature of a romantic relationship is unlike any other thing. And I can attest in my life that the few times I have been wounded, the absolute deepest level in here, like that pain, that agony that's just like you just can't explain it. It was from people of the opposite sex that I liked. And I know you guys are the same way because there's that certain spot within you that only they can reach, that a damage they can inflict that only they can inflict. And once you've been through it with them, you think about so many different things. Is this person ever going to get what they have coming? What is their life like now? You spend so much time thinking about how maybe they've gone on to greener pastures, maybe they're with somebody better, maybe they've improved, maybe their life is better. And I can promise you categorically right now, absolutely none of that is accurate. Absolutely none of it. They did not go on to better. They did not improve. They did not change. They're not happier now. The grass is not greener. None of that stuff is accurate. And 99% of the time, probably, they're not with a better person. Odds are, for a lot of you guys, I'm not going to make this claim for everyone. That would be stupid. But you know it. You know it if you were. If you were that one person that was just like that special individual for the narcissist, what people call the grade A supply, which I don't even like to use the talk about things that way. You were that special person that really did so much for them and they were attracted to and they really did like as much as they're capable of liking. Yeah, that that happens. And you know if you were or you weren't. But you think about all those things, they didn't replace you. They didn't go on to something better than you. Let's just get real. Didn't happen. Will never happen. And again, only you know if you were that, and it's not some sort of ego thing. It's just you knew the nature of the relationship, you knew what you brought, you knew how they felt about you knew all of this. And when, like for instance, when I finally ended it with the narcissist, it caused the biggest injury you could imagine in that person. She did everything you could think of and dream of, and not even dream of, to try to get me back and get back into my life, and then hurt me and injure me the worst possible ways you could think of. Like it caused an explosion in her life. Some of you guys, it was like that. Did the narcissist just pine for you, just try desperately to get you back, and then probably try to hurt you because that's what they do. The point of all this is we often think to ourselves the narcissist doesn't live with regret. They don't live with a cloud hanging over them. They just sort of frolic through life. And they just don't care about anyone at all, not even at some any level. Human relationships mean nothing at all to them, to the point where what the situation you had, they just forgot all about. You never entered their minds again. They don't live with the past. They don't live with their deeds. I want to tell you that's not true. It's not true. I would never sit here on the one hand and say the narcissist feels so deeply, they love so truly, they lament so deeply what they did to you. That's not true either. But there is still a part of them, it depends on how far gone they are. There's still a part of these narcissists that is human. They're still human beings at certain levels, right? So they bleed like human being. They can be hurt like a human being. I told you I saw that with the narcissist. And yes, you can make the case, well, it's just because they're so sad about what they're losing, the stuff they're losing. Okay, fine. They're still really torn up about what a person brought into their lives that they no longer have. That's still true, right? Even if you want to say it's only about what the now I think again there's some humanity there for at least a lot of them. Some. How much? Depends on the person. They still feel the loss of a human being that was really, really good for them. These people make all sorts of stupid, crazy decisions in life. That is another one of their curses. They they don't think through anything. They can't rationalize things the right way. They make the absolute poorest decisions imaginable because they are, by biblical definition, a proper fool. They're a fool. They're that person who digs a pit right in front of themselves and walks into it. They're that dog that goes out and digs through the trash and eats the rotten steak and eats the 3-day old green beans that have been in the, trash can for 3 days. And then they go and they find whatever's in the yard and they eat that. And then they go drink from the dirty water and lap that up. And then they go throw it all up only to eat it again. Just as a dog returns to its vomit, right? In Proverbs. That's the narcissist. They make terrible decisions. That is, if they have a good thing in their life, they will destroy it. If they have a good job, they'll usually destroy it at some point. They'll destroy every good person that ever comes down the pike. That's a given. They'll destroy their relationship with their children. They'll destroy a good living arrangement they have. They'll destroy a good friendship that they could have had. They'll destroy every single thing. It's like clockwork. It's not negotiable. And if they keep people around, friends and acquaintances and stuff for the long haul, it's not a deep, meaningful relationship. It's just surface level. Because if it gets beyond that, at some point, it ends. Anything that does not remain surface level for the narcissist, anything that goes deeper than that is destined to fail. But if you think that they don't look back and feel a personal loss for these things, you're wrong. If you think that you really could have been and were that amazing individual in their lives, the one who, man, they were attracted to, and man, they liked being around you. And this is all, keep in mind, again, as much as a narcissist can, as much humanity as they have left. With as much humanity as they have left, these things. They were attracted to you. They liked to be around you. They laughed. You made them laugh. You brightened their day at times when they were a basket case, which is a lot. You suffered through abuse. You allowed them to do crazy things, but that probably gave them, because of how spiritually disturbed and disordered they are and mentally disordered they are, that probably felt almost like a breath of fresh air. Because a lot of the truly disturbed people, which, gosh, it's so many today, one of the things, whether it's an avoidant or it's a narcissist or whatever you say, which are all just different shades of gray on this toxic spectrum, they enjoy, because of their disturbance, they enjoy when someone gives them the space to do stupid things or say stupid things or be cruel, and then the space to kind of come back, which is messed up, but they do. So when you were a punching bag, in a sense, that was just right up their alley, because then they could have their good days, they could beat you up and get it all out of their system, and then though you'd be there later on, some other time, a day or two later, where you can sit and watch a movie and talk and things are good, and they enjoy that. They do enjoy that. Don't think either the narcissist doesn't ever truly enjoy anything. Do they live in the moment authentically the way that we do? No, but they can still enjoy a good meal. They can still enjoy a movie. They can enjoy a walk. They can enjoy certain things. It's not, I mean, I think, guys, and I've done this myself. We go so far the other direction of talking about how disturbed and wicked, and they are these things. They're really wicked people. But that doesn't mean they have no humanity left at all. And the point of why I'm saying this is their past haunts them. All the bad decisions they made. Do you think, let's just say this for instance. The narcissist is usually dealing with a lot of people. Let's say that somebody comes along one day. They're used to being on the dating apps, dealing with really low caliber people, people on the dating apps who are talking to a bunch of people themselves, who are probably returnees because they just go back to the dating app and back and back and back. It's like some kind of 12-step program where nobody ever heals. They just go back and back and back and back. That's what most people do on the dating apps. The narcissist is used to dealing with those, or people who have low grade lives, or people who are low caliber in their personality, in their situation in life, or people who just treat them really poorly. They're also toxic themselves. And imagine then that the narcissist has somebody who walks up one day and sort of unexpectedly says, I don't know if you're seeing anybody, but I'd like to talk to you if you're not, and gives them their number. And that person might be of really high quality, unlike what they're used to dealing with. And they get to talking to the person and they get to knowing them and they like them and they understand this is a different person. This is one of us. This is a person of the light, even though they don't know that. They don't call it that. And they realize, wow, this is a this is a caliber of individual I'm not used to dealing with. This person would probably be really good for me. Instead of just doing things normally like a normal human being would, because they can't. Instead of that, they start to play games, they start to pull away. They like the person, they know the difference, but they like the person, they start to play games, they start to pull away. And instead of building something up with this rare individual that gave them a chance that kind of came out of nowhere, they chose instead to continue the same path they always have, and they're dealing with other people who just don't cut it. And they screw things up and they blow it up, and that situation is over. I know that might seem sort of detailed. I It may or may not have been the reality. My point is, they do these things, and then do you think for a minute that this situation or any others, that they don't look back as they deal with people who don't treat them well, as they continued on and they get themselves in different situations and they hit the wall and this person abuses them and this person cheated on them and this person was, well, they were okay, but they weren't. Do you think they don't look back and that decision they made to turn that person down ultimately doesn't haunt them? Do you think it doesn't stick with their minds? Do you think they're not still searching that person up on social media, seeing what they're doing? Do you think if they see that person with another individual, that that's not like a dagger to the heart? Because they knew they screwed up something really, really good. Do you think when the narcissist destroys things with their children, their own flesh and blood, their babies, their children, and their children grow up and they start to understand, and not all cases, this does not happen in all cases, but in a lot, they understand. I don't know if maybe they know narcissism, maybe they don't, but they figure out their parent is trash. And they move on and they largely have nothing to do with them or completely nothing. Do you think the narcissist does not look back and say, I sabotaged things with my kids? I don't even speak to that son or daughter that grew up in my house under my supervision for 18, 19, 20, however many years. And now I don't even speak with them at all ever because I trashed it. Now, are they going to blame the kids? Probably. In their minds, are they going to blame that person that was so good for them that they probably, because that's cope. That's coping. But coping's not authentic. Coping is trying to convince yourself of a lie so that it's easier. They still know what they did. When they do the same thing with their parents and they are estranged from parents or other loved ones, or they lose a great friend who bent over backwards, who hung the moon, the stars for them, who did everything under the sun for them. Guys, do you think it doesn't really matter? If you're talking about a flat out sociopath and onward who literally has no feelings, no emotions whatsoever, they're just absolutely a complete 100% thorough robot, then you might not have this conversation. But if you're talking about most narcissists on that spectrum out there, there's some humanity left. And I don't know how much. It depends. But that humanity that's there feels the loss and feels some pain and feels some regret. And as I said, on very simple, basic levels, say they blew things up with you, which I'm sure they did, and with me. Let's let, sometimes it's less than this, but let's let 5 years elapse. Let's let 10. Let's just say 10. And they're sitting next to whoever they're with at the time because they're always with somebody. And they're sitting there thinking, and it occurs to them, they're not attractive to me. They're uninspired. They're not interesting. Because I've said this before, being truly, authentically interesting, how many people are there? I've been told that by two different situations, both on this toxic spectrum, and that means something. But I'm sitting next to this person and I'm not attracted, and they're not interesting, and they're uninspired, and they don't really take care of themselves, and I don't want to do anything really with them, but I have to have somebody. And they sit and think, I used to have that person. I wonder where they're at today. And they pull up on their phone and they're doing those glances, searching you up on social media, seeing how you look and what your life is like, and they sit and think, wow, I used to have that person. I could have always had that person, and I'm sitting next to this. The person who doesn't treat me particularly well, who I don't really like. We fight like cats and dogs, because I'm a toxic person too. Not attractive, uninspired, not interesting. Do you think that doesn't matter? Do you think in those moments, and those moments come, trust me, they do, especially as the narcissist ages and their options get less and less and less. And guys, let me tell you something. Let me just tell you something right now. It doesn't take long for the narcissist. The one that I was, the narcissist, when I first started dating her, this was a at least reasonably attractive person. Nothing crazy, just reasonably. Decent shape, decent attractiveness. Obviously, still corrupt. I just didn't know it. Fast forward just a few years, and the life toll that things have taken. Whenever I do see that person today, wherever it is, which happens occasionally, it's like butter scraped over too much bread. In 3 years, that person is unrecognizable from what they looked like a few years ago. And that's probably one of the minor cases. It doesn't take long for life to catch up to the narcissist, and a lot of times, not always. There are some, I've met some, they're so naturally beautiful, for instance, that they're going to be pretty into their 40s. But guess what? They're still going to hit the wall too. I'm talking about the most naturally, genetically gifted, beautiful people. That doesn't last forever either. They'll reach their low 40s, mid 40s, and that attention adoration will slow down tremendously. And then even them, even that beautiful, beautiful narcissist, they will look back and say, crap, I can't get most of what I used to get. I have half the amount of attention, a fourth. And the attention I'm getting, it's not the same kind of people. I used to have him. I used to have her. And yeah, I still have some options, but they're not that good. Nothing like what I used to pull. Nothing like those rare gems. Guys, the narcissist's past will haunt them. From what happens with their kids, to the romantic relationships, to poor decisions they make romantically with people in a flash, you know what I'm saying? To the way they've blown up housing situations and jobs and friendships. And the reason why it haunts them, and I can tell you to a certainty to conclude why it haunts them, is because the narcissist is never forgiven for any of their misconduct. They never seek forgiveness. It hangs over them like a cloud. And as they go, that cloud gets bigger and bigger and darker and more ominous. And there's a bunch of those little thunderstorms and lightning bolts going off within that cloud because they're not forgiven anything. They don't seek forgiveness. They live and compound their sins. And yes, they do look back. They do live with some sort form of regret. This is the curse. And ask yourself, if you still don't think this is true, ask yourself, how could it not be? A person reaps what they sow. Everyone, in various ways here and certainly in the life to come, reaps what they sow. It would be a complete derelict of justice. It would be a complete mockery of the way God has set the world up and God's justice if the narcissist can do all these things and live with a completely clear mind. They don't. They can't. These things compound, and especially those big major events, the children relationships they blew up, that great person they meet every once in a blue moon, blew that up. They live in regret. And yes, their past will haunt them. So, guys, I hope you found this interesting. Drop comments below if you did. I have no doubt in my mind, for if just in case you wonder, and you shouldn't really. I don't even care. I'm just saying, as a matter of fact, the narcissist past will and does haunt them, in ways we frankly wouldn't even care to know. So, anyway, guys, hope you found this interesting. Drop comments below. Come at you with another one soon. Until then, God bless.